Alright, so we are back on our raft. Sailing by an island, and it looks like that'll be a good chance to make a little stop, do some treasure hunting. Definitely enjoying the new water filtration system. Okay, what do I need? Okay, I've already got everything I need to go to the island. I'm carrying bows and the bow and arrow that I don't actually need right now. Alright. Bit farther than anticipated. Hopefully that doesn't screw me over with Bruce being too aggressive. Because we do have 3 sharks around the raft. So you can't really be too careful there. Alright, what do we got for treasure here? That is going to be mostly garbage. Oh well. Always worth taking a look. And back on our way we go. Oh, why? Wondering if this out over here doesn't, this might not even matter. We'll see if the farms, basically we'll see if the farms actually get the water they need without, as long as these sprinklers can get salt water, there's no wait, that shouldn't even be a problem. The water purifier is actually in the bottom end, so that's just storage. So having just this one joint will make perfect sense. There's no reason to have it split up. So all the water that pulls up is already good. Well, it does make things easier. Now, where do I store water pipes? I'm sure I'll need more later. That looks like a big island, and it looks like a big island I don't recognize immediately. Oh, hold on. Is this a new type of island, or am I just seeing it from a side I'm not used to? We have gotten farther in the story than we ever have before, so it is possible that this is a new type of island. Sure is a shame that binoculars don't work worth a damn in this game. You can make binoculars, they don't actually do anything worthwhile for you. Oh, this might just be a Balboa type island. Yeah, it's got bears and trees. Still not one that I've seen before, so it is a new island for me, but it is not a new type of island. Drop down to our anchor. Right there. Good enough. Alright, we'll need to deal with food and water before we leave. Which I do enjoy that I don't need to leave the kitchen for dealing with either of these now. They're both just a simple case of grab this up you need from the kitchen and move on. Actually, I wonder if I can do this in a more elegant way. So I don't know if this will specifically be a more elegant way, but okay, no, can't do it like that. And I also cannot do that. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to leave the original setup, but that is fine. Alright, I'm getting sidetracked. Onto the island. Should bring a bow with those arrows. I'll just barely put all this away, but that is fine. There we go. I'll just put the water pipes here, I guess. Oh, and I should grab the tokens. I know there's a trade post on this island. Okay, finally on our way now. Oh, what a friendly bear. Came out to greet us. Alright. Back to exploration of the island. Now, sure, it's gonna have new and interesting things. That doesn't mean we shouldn't remember to look for treasure on our way. Yeah, this has got like a nice little land bridge. Here, yeah, and there's the trade post. Yeah, I don't know what really to... What do I buy? I should buy some expert fishing bait, that's for sure. So I've got all the expert fishing bait I can buy. Don't think I actually need titanium ore for anything right now. I might, but I don't think I do. Can't afford a fridge. Hey Milo girl, how's it going? Yeah, all the things I'd like to get are too expensive right now, I think. Yeah, even the turmeric and chili are too expensive. Oh well, we'll just go with what we got and that'll be fine. I am doing wonderfully. It is a long weekend for us, so... Actually, I'm trying to think, is this a long weekend in America as well? I can't remember off the top of my head. And we've got bees up here. We'll just leave them to their business. We don't need more bees for our raft right now. We'll do our best to not get stung while we're here, though. Okay, I say La Huang weekend for you. That's a bit of a stretch, but we'll allow it. Oh, and we've got some dirt here. That's not bad. Actually do need the dirt right now to expand the little green space we have for the livestock. Okay, well we'll have to make a new shovel because we've broken ours. So we'll get down to that raft and we'll probably run into a bear when we're down there. The bears respawn pretty quick on these islands. I feel like they respawn too quickly, but I am not the game developer. I'm sure they did it the way they did it for a reason. Okay, let's grab some metal, get those smelters working, and let's make our shovel. So we got our shovel. Then we can throw away our Bitcoin. Oh, and we need to drink some water, eat some food. So that return to the ship was well timed. Alright, and back onto the island. Yeah, because we need the grass to be able to fill up this last row, and then our livestock will have plenty of green space. Oh, there's the bear. Yeah, the C-shaped shark steaks are definitely one of the better looking foods in the game. They're absolutely way better looking than the... Oh, I just ran off the cliff. That would be bad. They're way better looking than the pufferfish soup. The pufferfish soup is not appetizing at all. Oh, ran into a wall. There, okay. Bear did a decent amount of damage to me. Okay, so where? So somewhere on this island there's treasure, but not anywhere close to where I am. It does make me wonder I wonder how shark actually tastes. Like, I wonder if shark meat is actually like has a good flavor to it or not. So I have no idea. We've gotten farther away from the treasure on the island, as it's not even picking up at all now. Oh, we are super close to our treasure now. Here it is. And it's a safe. That'll mean it's actually something worth picking up. We will drop that to pick up the explosive powder. So we've got some titanium. Yeah, so we got a decent amount of stuff out of that. That was worthwhile. So I imagine it probably would actually come in a C shape, because the shape of most fish, sharks especially, like their stomach is going to be in their belly, but then it's going to be muscles all along the side and then along the top. So it's going to be in the shape of a C. Or at least I think it would be. At this point, I certainly would be disappointed if it wasn't. I expect my C-shaped shark steak. do mushrooms go? We're just low on mushrooms. Better biofuel in our... Oh, that's where I was putting the... We'll put those in there. And we still have... Okay, we're good. Back on the island, we'll just see if it has any other treasure. It very likely does not. But this will give us a chance to get back to the top of it and trade in our fish that we've caught for points. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll avoid that bear. I don't really need to fight it 3 times. Just do it. Oh, there is still more treasure up here. And it is very close by. Oh, as well as I had not actually noticed that crate before. So my search for treasure brought me to other treasure. There it is. Oh, this is mostly trash though. We'll still pick it up, but... Alright. Just do some more fishing and then we can run away. Go back to the water. So we never see anyone running these trade posts. So I guess I come up and leave them junk cubes and just hope that they're okay with me leaving junk cubes. I mean, there's a notebook here, presumably that describes what I am allowed to bring them. There, sell our special fish. I wish you could actually, oh, you probably can mount these onto display plaques. I'm going to have to try that now. I didn't think of that before. You had a package you needed to ship today, so you dropped it in the mail slot. How many packages did you have though? There's only one. Yes. Okay. 2 more fish bait. Ugh. I just had to sneeze. I don't know why, but I always like sneeze in pairs. I never just sneeze once. Well, that was very convenient timing. I ran out of bait and broke my fishing rod at the same time. All right. So now we've got a lot of our Bitcoin. Back to the raft. There's the bear. But we're just going to go back to the raft. Leave it alone. So too bad I can't add a little like ramp to the end of that. Okay, we'll set the sail. Let's take us away from here and lift the anchor. Now, we probably rotate it a little bit. That's actually not bad. Nope, I'm moving us in the wrong direction. That's close enough. We'll pull up our sail and off we go again with our odd looking boat. Okay, make myself a new fishing rod. Now I picked up 4 pieces of dirt. That should be enough to make 2 more crop plots. But I need plastic. Luckily, plastic never needs to be a rare resource. Yeah, I'll be everything we toss in the trash. Yes, I always have my sneezes in pairs. There. Everything's working just like we need it to. Oh, nothing interesting on the horizon, so we'll get back to working on the boat. So I'd probably spend more time on the piano, but I can't actually play the piano. Yeah, the pufferfish soup is not a pretty looking soup. Especially, yeah, so here it just like sits there, bulgy eyes out of the soup. I don't think I'd personally eat that. Shark steak, on the other hand, that looks all right. How's the catfish? Yeah, nope, the catfish deluxe is still looking better. Still take that. Barbecue is quite nice. And yeah, the hearty stew just looks like stew. That's fine. But yeah, like, no, I guess even the simple fish stew is actually good. I mean, the catfish looks a little bit gross, but not nearly as bad as the pufferfish soup. The pufferfish soup is definitely probably the worst. Okay, well, we'll put away our hard-earned Bitcoin. That's a lie. We didn't earn our Bitcoin hard. It was easy. All right, we'll put our titanium in here. So don't collect so many that you are going to sink the raft. Just build more raft. Don't have to worry about sinking the raft if you just basically build a large shark steak warehouse on the water. It'll be nothing but freezer after freezer of shark steaks. Okay, now I need to go get food. Yeah, just hit. All right. We'll eat a salmon. Yes, a large C-shaped raft for your C-shaped shark steaks. Okay. I'll clear it. Oh, couldn't pick up a raw beet. That's fine. We're picking up a bunch of garbage. We'll throw that away. Thank goodness we have this trash can. Otherwise, I have to throw this all back into the ocean. The ocean has enough garbage as is. We don't need any more of it in there. Okay. Haven't cleared my nets in a while, obviously, because it's just got so much stuff in here. They're all just really packed full. All we're really getting a value out of it is potatoes and beets. But those are useful for making food, so we'll keep them. Oh, and we're going to crash into a little island. That is okay. Actually, I'll go down and get ready to hit the anchor. That'll be close enough. Yeah, that was perfect. Alright. This island's got treasure. Every island's got treasure. It's just not all the treasure is good. And this treasure is not overly good. When you get a milk crate and a tire, you know it's not going to be anything spectacular. But that's okay. Still worth that quick stop off, pick up some fruit, and go back on our way. All without ever having to fight Bruce. Because I don't really want to fight Bruce. Bruce is mean. Oh yeah, I guess there's no beat emoji, is there? Okay, I'll leave all the seeds here, but we'll take everything else. Okay. I will leave. Yeah, that'll be good. And then the rest of them can get dumped here. Okay, we'll set up our sail, take us away from this island. Right, and we're back underway. And we'll eat another salmon. Okay, and back to fishing and waiting to see what sort of islands we come by. So are all of the shark takes Even the small ones? Or are there smaller fish steaks as well? Yep, you can. I guess yeah, you can look at the character from outside perspective. So just standing there, holding a shark steak, wearing a shark head. That's a weird. I don't think I would just hold a shark steak like that, but whatever. I guess I can't complain too much. Alright, I'm gonna put these little bitty fish into there. And back to fishing and watching. A little island on that side. Don't think it's worth going that far out of our way to it. That little island will be worth hitting. That's very nice. We got three and three of the two medium-sized fish. Yeah, the water would be very, mind you, the water is already very deep. Seeing pictures of the fish that are like the deep sea fish, it's always kind of they're cool and they're terrifying at the same time. Because you get some really weird looking creatures down that far. But there's all those really deep, scary creatures would still stay deep. I don't know. I think on the one side it would be kind of neat living in a world where everything's flooded so that you can sail everywhere in the world. It'd be very peaceful, just you and sailing. Although, having fought like the butler bots and all of that, I guess there is a point where it stops being peaceful and becomes a little dangerous. Because, I don't know, other people fighting butler robots with tasers sounds like somebody else's problem. Yeah, there would definitely be times where it would be very lonely. Just you in open water. But that can already happen when you go in the ocean. can sail for days without seeing anybody else. I feel like just like playing raft, it'd be a lot more fun with friends. That worked out almost perfectly. Just need one that's a little bit longer than that. Okay, so it's gonna be on the other side here. There. Alright, so what do we have here? Oh, a tiki piece. Excellent. We'll add that over to our other tiki piece. Alright. Now, can I jump back on the raft? Yes, I can. Excellent. And back out we go. Yeah, I don't think I want to be on the raft anymore after people become the next thing on the menu. But as long as you can fish, you shouldn't run out of food. You might get tired of eating nothing but fish for a while, but I'll still eat nothing but fish before I eat people. Of all the pieces we could have found, we found the identical piece to the one that we found in the first one. Because I think there's 5 different pieces. And the one we found is identical to the first one we found. The back nets are all empty, which is good because that means we've been doing exactly what we've been wanting to do. I mean, that is entirely fair. If other people are discussing having you for dinner, I think I would also jump off the raft and try to escape. Yeah, I think I'll be able to actually narrow the front in the future. And then when I do that, we can probably actually bring all this in. I want to have the ground floor as small as I can. So you just to make sure that you sabotage your engines before you leave. Then they can't chase you down. Now, if we were actually stuck on a raft like this, surrounded by sharks, we just had to get better at hunting sharks. So I think the idea of just diving in the water and shooting sharks with bow and arrows is probably a terrible idea in real life. Bows don't work well underwater. But you'd think you'd be able to make a giant fishing rod and then take the shark bait and put it on the end of it. And then you'd be able to just catch shark like you catch other fish. And then you have an endless supply of C-shaped shark steaks. See, I'm thinking ahead here. We got a lot of salmon going down. That's great. All right. We'll stop at a small island to see if it's got good treasure. So close, but yeah, we came to a stop just before we hit. That's nice. Oh wow, I pulled out the metal detector and it was exactly on top of the treasure spot. Now we'll see if we can get away from here without... Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. We just skim away. That is just excellent. And then, yeah, we're cleared the island, lift our sail, and go back to drifting. Okay, we'll eat one of our salmon and then put the other ones back in the fridge. Okay, but our battery that powers our water filtration is dead, so let's swap it out. I actually don't know if the ship is busy tonight or just tired. Oh, there. I think Shep is a little bit tired this weekend because Shep has been babysitting a puppy for her brother. Oh, couldn't pick up all of that. Let's try this again. There. Now we got it all. So many fish to cook. As it can be very peaceful to just sit here on the raft and catch fish and cook fish. Although, if I was ever stuck on a raft, I would hope that I could come up with a better fishing rod so that I didn't have to build a new fishing rod every like twice every day. Seems to me like I'm having to rebuild the fishing rod a little more often than a well-built fishing rod should have to be. It'd also be if you've got a raft that's big enough that you can grow trees on it, and you could have a nice little like tropical island that you can move wherever you want. That'd be very nice and relaxing. Where am I trying to put things? There's where I'm trying to put things. Okay, have we actually caught up on all the things that need to be smelted? Yes, we have. Actually, let's put up some seaweed. We'll smelt the seaweed. Seaweed's helpful because that'll help us make flippers and the oxygen bottle that lets us dive deep. So you have found a new pun for Shep's name. Oh. I don't know if I'm still streaming. Have I crashed it? Okay. Oops. I definitely tried to click on the link and may have absolutely wrecked everything, but we are back. Now let's click on the link more carefully. Okay. Chaperon. Yep. So I'm not entirely sure what I just listened to, but I did listen to it. Oh, you're in Oregon again? I'm definitely not surprised that you're in Oregon. Let's wait and see if Shep watches the live stream or basically watches the stream later and finds out about this. Or if we just start calling her Chaperon and she is going to be very confused. Yeah, just start calling her Chaperon and don't explain why. And chat just be like, well, if you'd been there, you'd understand. It's time of clearing out the nets again. Yeah, they're starting to get some things through to the back nets. Oh, we're going right past the island. We want to stop at the island. See, this is what happens when you leave the raft for too long. Say if you'd come back to explore Varuna Point, then you wouldn't have to basically wouldn't have to relearn the raft between. It just got an added floor to it, so the second floor and third floor are less crammed. We also, yeah, just basically a decluttering of the raft. It's a good thing. Safe. Ooh, we got a cassette tape. Pop cassette tape. I wonder what's going to be on that. Let's see. What do we not need to hold on to? We can let go of that. Alright, and back onto the raft. Better set the sail before we pull up that anchor. Alright, so what is our wait, where's our radio? There's our radio. So we'll take out the trading post cassette, put in the pop cassette. So what do we get? Yep, so we got some pop music. Definitely not current pop music. Or at least not. Oh, I guess Shep has heard the joke. Because I have been joined by a chaperone.
And like Beetlejuice, you say Shep one too many times, and apparently.
Yep. So, hold on, in the thing that, basically things that have been revamped on here, one of the things you're going to enjoy is that we have a large water tank that you can just go up to and fill with water at any time. No more having to sit there and transfer water around and wait for water to purify. We are now on nice, just clean water all the time. I like it when life is easy.
Hey, Milo.
So how's it going, chaperone?
I mean, you were not wrong in saying that I might be tired, but I am living a single dog life right now.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying. Or rather, my dog is enjoying the single dog life more than me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine the cats are probably also very thrilled about the reduced dog presence.
Yep, Bear is actually sitting down on the couch next to me. I mean, he has been coming out of my room when the puppy's been in the crate or outside, but this is most relaxed I've seen him since Saturday.
Yeah. Wait, oh no, there it is. Alright, we've added some more art to the boat. Nothing too much. This is definitely a very interesting cassette. So, what do you...
like if elevator music was all pop.
Like, that's something like... So, this cassette was labeled pop. What do you guys think? Is this pop?
You know what this
I guess
is?
it's not pop, but...
This is hold music. That's what this is.
I mean, I'd be happy if this was hold music, because I feel like hold music is usually worse.
I have nightmares about the Walmart hold music, I'll be perfectly
Yep.
honest. That is triggered in the back of my brain forever.
But I feel like that's not the fault of the music. That's the fault of you probably had to listen to that way too often.
Oh yeah, there was a a number of people who, I don't know how they managed to do this, but they put someone on hold and then put that hold on the pager. And because my
Yeah.
office was insular and I could actually hear the music, I had to listen to that a lot.
Yep.
That being said, also had the wonderful moment where two different people on hold, and again, I don't know how they managed this, but two different people on hold, instead of being connected to whoever they were on hold for,
They were connected to each other. Mm-hmm.
And they had a whole conversation where they were very confused. And again, because my office was insular, I could hear the whole thing. No one else in the store did.
Yep.
I laughed because I'm a horrible person.
I mean, definitely hearing, like, that would be a very hilarious thing to do if you were in like a customer service job and hated your job and had the power and just be like, I'm just going to connect the angry customers to the other angry customers.
And the worst thing for me is I can't figure out how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it should not be possible. And you know it's just somebody who's completely lost when it comes to technology, who has performed some kind of voodoo magic. And I need to know.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, so just on a, like, the aspect of actually doing it, it shouldn't actually be that difficult. The thing is, somebody, oh, hey, look, it's Verona Point again. That's where we'd go if we had a Juan.
Yeah. Yeah, Juan, where you at?
Oregon,
I enjoy
apparently.
that pun, Milo. How dare he? What does Oregon have that we don't? Besides, like, obviously work.
You know, Oregon doesn't have Verona Point.
This is true. Oregon also does not have me. Although, I could go to Oregon and, like, bother some people gently.
Just shout up and be like, where's my sword? Damn it.
Right. And it would be gentle because I'm not fighting with people who make swords for a living.
So I understand why you would say that, but it is my highest recommendation that you do fight people who make swords for a living. Not because you'll win.
If I got a chance to fight Sam, I would fight Sam. Sam seems like a cool person.
Yep, he's a cool guy, and he is a good fighter, as you would expect by someone who makes swords for a living. Someone who turned his love of the hobby into an actual career. So, yep. Yeah, Oregon also does not have C-shaped shark steaks. I don't know if that's a tongue twister or if my tongue just doesn't work well, but I do think C-shaped shark steak is a bit of a...
C-shaped shark shapes. C-shaped shark shapes. No, it's definitely a tongue twister. That was a struggle.
I'm still, like, this music's fine.
I've heard
But,
worse.
like it's good. It's, like, honestly, it's actually half decent, but definitely the fact that it's labeled pop is the part that confuses me most.
This maybe is why the ice cat smells it. Like, not judging, but...
I do think that my favorite bit of this game is the moonrise. The reflection of the moon on the water is just such a beautiful thing.
I also do appreciate the night sky. Like, it's simplistic, but it's realistic enough that I'm like, this is relaxing, you know?
Yep. And I think this might be one of the problems I have playing this game on hard mode is when we're like, yes, we're doing this as an adventure, go out there and do the thing, and that's that. It works fine. But this game, I think, is at its most fun when you just sit back, relax, do some fishing, watch the moon go high in the sky to like what someone's idea of pop music is.
I mean, I think Milo's got it. Belonged to a guy named Pop.
Ah,
Probably made like by his grandkids. They were trying to teach him Spotify, and he was like, "I have a cassette player," and they were like, "Fine, fine, Pops, we'll make you music."
I do also love that these are cassette tapes and not anything more modern.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it kind of tracks because cassette tapes, in a way, are not indestructible. They are hardy.
See-
Like CDs have issues.
See, I guess CDs are, but I'm trying to think CDs, the magnetic nature of tapes does mean that they are prone to losing their data, where CDs are not.
That's fair. But like, if you don't have a CD in a case, as I've discovered sadly, because my brother is that person who pulls the CD out and then just drops it.
Yes. Those don't
Oh,
last
CDs
long
get
for some
wrecked.
weird reason.
Like, only monsters, only monsters do this.
I mean, but that's what brothers are for, I'm pretty sure.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, anybody who went from hardcore rap to country music, gotta be some kind of thing there.
Yeah, something went wrong there.
I mean, he moved to Alberta, that's what happened.
That is definitely one of my coworkers will listen to will listen to country, and I'm still not convinced that he likes country at all, and it's simply spending the time in Alberta that he just doesn't.
Just became accustomed.
He's just like, yeah, okay, I'll live.
And see, I kind of love it too because...
Hold on a second.
That's terrible and I love it.
Crafting Spirit is asking me for a tape measure, and I cannot for the life of me remember where it is right now.
Oh, I feel that.
I know I have a tape measure, but I have like one. I could tell you right now where the tape measure at work is. The tape measure in my van, I know exactly where that is. Tape measure here at home? Nope, no idea.
I think I know where maybe 2 of 3 of my tape measures are. There's a really nice one I think I've hidden from my brother.
As you should.
Like, this is a very nice tape measure, and I'm like, I know, you've stolen it once. I am assuming Crafting Spirit does not need, like, a fabric measuring.
No, I could tell her where those are, because I actually have
If
my
Crafting
own of
Spirit
those.
doesn't have one, I need to shame Crafting Spirit just like a little.
But I actually don't know what Crafting Spirit is currently building.
Crafting Spirit is what I call Crim, when Crim does not exist.
Yes, Crafting Spirit is my wife. At least when Crafting Spirit is crafting.
Only your wife when Crafting Spirit is crafting. I want to see those wedding vows.
Yeah, I have to say this music slightly changes the vibe of this game a little bit. Not in a bad way, just there's a subtle shift of vibe. Small island, we'll go visit that.
The CD pun? I thought it was cute.
I saw. Oh, CDs. I'm tempted to continue the joke into something else, but I will not.
That would be a bit seedy of you.
Super CD. So that is actually me and Crafting Spirit are actually considering doing a playthrough of all of the Final Fantasy games that we're nostalgic about. So that might start with Final Fantasy VII. That would be certainly be interesting.
I'm afraid to ask why your wife one is a hooker. Are they crocheting?
I would assume that is a crocheting joke.
I hope so.
I mean, there's other things you can hook. Doth thou hook?
I mean, rugs. You can hook rugs. So the Dungeons and Daddies thing that I posted earlier, where the poor DM was almost crying, I felt for you very strongly. He gave them a bag of magic beans, and they dropped it down an elevator shaft. And the poor DM had to figure out how many of the beans fell out and what they did. So they actually went outside to the balcony outside the apartment and dropped it from 2 stories to see how many dice would fall out of this bag.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Short, they ended up summoning a pyramid in the middle of this building and killed a bunch of people.
I mean, this sounds accurate.
That's right, Juan. Blame your wife. I think you just really want to test us on whether or not we can make this a family-friendly channel. The answer is we generally fail, sir. Why are you testing us? You know this.
I mean, yeah. That is definitely there's part of me where I'm like, oh man, I could totally stream State of Decay with Doom. But I'm like, streaming State of Decay with Doom is also not going to say family friendly.
I was actually going to say, leading up to Halloween, what you really need to do is your hard mode of the forest.
Yeah, that would actually be fun.
However, if we invite Doom, we may have to put content warnings. I would like to invite Doom because
we were discussing already cannibalism earlier tonight, so that's fine.
Oh yeah, we're fine.
And that's where so I think now the upside of playing the forest is you don't have to worry about contact warnings because the game is
the game
just
itself.
The game itself. You're just like, okay, we are playing a less family friendly game now.
Oh yeah, actually no.
There's much blood, there's much gore, and there's also naked cannibals.
Yeah.
Not that you ever see anything, but there's still naked cannibals.
Yep. Yeah, some of the bodies are
and like, because it's also a thing of like when you're going through the caves and there's like bodies mutilated.
I feel like I forgot about that, and that sounds really bad on my part. But there was so much more to be afraid of in that game that was just window dressing at that
Well, that's the things that you would normally consider the horror or the gore was not the scary part of the game.
Mostly that, yeah. Just thinking about it. Yeah, I probably feel bad about forgetting all that.
It was nice knowing you, Juan.
Yeah. Do we have to change it to the 2 J's now?
Say, Juan will still be there. He just won't be alive anymore.
He's just there in spirit, literally.
Alright. I've just been handed a ICBC renewal reminder. What are they trying to remind me to renew? I don't think it's anything that matters. I think it's my car. Oh, no. They're reminding me that... Oh, the CRV runs out of insurance on October 3rd. Okay.
Oh, that might be something you want to renew.
That I do want to renew.
I was definitely going to laugh when you're like, my car, because, yeah. But you do use the CRV slightly more.
Well, that's what make the car. I'm like, haha, joke's on you. I don't care. So, I guess Juan has named all of his channels after how many J's there are. It's just that his main channel, there's only Juan J. Yeah, we need to get Jeff and Josh in here so we can have 5 J's.
Again, Josh would be great for... oh, I hate to say the forest.
Josh would be wonderful for the forest. So
Josh is wonderful for the forest, but
earlier, me and Milo were talking about cannibalism on the raft and how we would basically jump off the raft and run away if we were on the raft with friends and food was scarce and suddenly they were looking at eating people. But Josh is the only person who has actually tried eating other people in this game.
Accurate. Other people being Shep.
So
Should I feel special that I'm the only person Cannibal's trying to eat in Raft?
I mean,
call Cannibal trying to eat anyone else.
You were the only one who came up at a convenient time. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I'm pretty sure Cannibal has tried consuming all meat that he found in Forest. It was just Forest was the only place. Yes, if I'm ever in a survival situation, I am not hanging out with Josh. There's a reason why his nickname in our gaming chat is Cannibal. Alright. If you are you eat, Josh is 100% human. I am mostly chicken. Yep, just like that. Alright, and now we see what this little island has in store.
Actually, I feel like you'll appreciate this, James. So my family got to the island, and they went to visit one uncle.
Yep.
And then they were going to the other uncle's house. And they were really tired from the trip and everything. I mean, to be fair, they were up at like 6
Yep.
in the morning. And they got so tired they could no longer continue. And I think they got so tired they forgot that phones exist. This is important. So they pulled over and they slept in a Walmart parking lot. Which is kind of ironic.
Yep.
But what gets even better is my brother woke up the next morning, remembered that phones and like Google Maps exist, and discovered they were 3 kilometers away from my uncle's house.
Are you kidding me? You
Not.
slept in a car when you could, like... There's something about the planning of that trip that makes me think that if I ever have to travel with your mom or your brother, I am not allowing them to do any of the planning tasks.
Right. What's even better is because Duncan has a CPAP machine because he can't breathe when he sleeps. He was snoring.
Yeah.
And my mom apparently finally got comfortable, and then she was snoring a little, and I mean that's position and age and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So then she woke Duncan back up, which is not. It's both impressive and not that impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, they ended up sleeping in a car 3 kilometers away from a bed.
That is makes me want to slap people.
I thought you'd appreciate it.
Like on the one hand, it is understandable, but also, guys. I think that's a valid point. This music would make Getting Eaten by Bruce a lot more peaceful.
I feel like at that point it almost feels like an infomercial.
Yep.
Like, I would still be upset, but I'd expect, like, Billy Mays or someone to come over and tell me about, like, a CD collection with, like, 20 great music artists on it, but wait, there's more.
Yep.
I am not as prepared as you, Jess, but I do know what I'm doing for the next 2 months, which I consider an accomplishment.
Yeah, that
To
is
be honest, I keep forgetting Pentacon exists.
the planning and budgeting setup that Jess does is beyond me. But the planning level of your mom, that's something else. That is at one point where you're sitting there being like, why? This didn't have to be like this.
A little bit. I think the furthest I've gone, like, looking is I was kind of thinking about Ursulmus.
Yeah.
And that's about as far in advance, and that was more of an arbitrary, like, oh yeah, there's a thing in January.
Yeah.
That being said, there is also something, I don't remember what it is, honestly, it's like...
That was definitely earlier. I did not actually refer to Jess as Jess, because I'm like, I think Jess is probably still one.
Oh, hey, look at that.
But either way,
One of
I
them.
think Jess is still the one who actually has the budget plan for next year. Like, Juan's budget is planned, but I don't feel like it's planned by Juan. I might be misreading that situation, but I kind of feel that's the way that's gone. All right, get on this island and hunt for... Oh, I'm getting some good luck of basically hopping out, pulling out the metal detector, and being like on top of the treasure already.
Nice.
Ooh, we got
I'm
another
thinking about
painting of After the Rain. So technically a good haul, however, on something we already had, so not overly exciting.
I was gonna look for clay, but then a Bruce found me, so...
Yeah, if you want to look for clay, I recommend we move the raft away from the island.
Those Bruces are very
Bruces
determined.
are very dedicated this time of year.
So I have to find this event. I was going to mention it on Thursday because I thought it was hilarious. I think I mentioned it to Mel. I can't remember if I mentioned it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in October, the Barony of Three Mountains. So
Yeah.
I think Oregon. Does that sound about right? I don't know.
Yes.
It's OR, so I'm assuming Oregon. I
Yep.
apologize if I'm wrong. They are having something called Thanks for All the Fish. And I laughed way too hard
Yep.
at that name. I was like, thank you, this appeases everything.
Yep. As it turns out, the SCA is filled with nerds, and
Hey, Michael.
things are named for that. Yeah. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I think
But
that's why I find it even funnier that our particular corner is so against conventions.
yeah, I am certainly amused by it, but we will see if because Wednesday is our meeting, and I am gonna.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I am allowed to listen in.
And encouraged, allowed and encouraged.
I remembered like someone being like, "You should listen in." Because I don't think I have overly a voice in that. If I'm not council, I don't know how it works.
I mean, you can't vote on things,
Fair.
but your voice should still have input, as the Shire is its people.
But yeah, I saw the announcement and I was like, I didn't make the last one, but I have the time, so
Yeah.
I will make an effort to make Wednesday. I really want to joke. It's actually very close to my bedtime at that point because I open the next day, but that's what naps are for.
Naps are a dangerous gamble, but
Always. It was actually a nice cool day here too.
yeah, the ride I took just like quickly down the hill and back was a very good temperature of ride.
I was actually out in my backyard for a bit in the hammock, and I haven't been able to do that since like end of May.
Yeah, we've just barely kind of gotten to the temperature where it's like, yep, you can go outside. We have not, however, quite gotten to the temperature where turning off the AC is acceptable, despite what Crafting Spirit thinks.
I mean, my AC is currently off, but I also feel like my AC is a little more powerful than yours.
I mean, I don't think it's a matter of AC power. I think it is of just the fact that like our house, when in the sun, is
Oh yeah, that's
an
fair
oven.
too.
But Crafting Spirit went from always being like too hot.
I was about to say, Crafting Spirit's thermometer's broken. That doesn't really count.
Yeah. But that's like because originally everything was too hot for her. But then with reduced blood pressure, suddenly she is not too warm anymore. So we have flipped on the debate of whether it needs to be warmer or cooler.
I do kind of love that because historically, you tended to get cold faster, obviously. Yeah. So that kind of makes me laugh a little.
Yep, now I am the one who's always like, why is it so hot in here? And she is the voice of, but it's, or yeah, she's the voice of, but it's like too cold. I'm like, no, it is not. Because it used to
That's the
be like she would set the thermostat on the AC to like 20.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why mine's turned off, because it's been at 21 all day.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I'm like, now I'm wearing like the fuzzy pajamas.
Yeah. No,
So I think it can be turned off.
for me, the AC is usually set to 22. If we're climbing up to like 25 degrees, the AC can come on.
That's fair.
If it's 20 degrees in the house, the AC doesn't need to be quite that cold. Let's see, 20 Celsius to Fahrenheit is, it's less, 68?
It's like room temperature.
It
It's a
is
little
just
below room
below, yeah, just
temperature.
below 70. I think it's like 68. 66 degrees. Yeah, see, that is colder than I want it. Honestly, for me, 70 degrees is pretty much where I want things to be at.
When my brother was living with me, he had the really bad habit, because he runs very warm. I don't even remember what he put the thermostat. I think he put it on like 10. Like, he put it on insane. So I would get up in the morning, and it was like getting up in the middle of winter, and it was the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not be stoked on that.
Well, it's the worst part about the winter, because you're all warm in your blankets, and then you have to get out of bed.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want it so cold outside of my blankets that I don't want to get up at all.
I'm just looking that up for you. So like 50, apparently?
Yeah, 50 on the dot.
Ten is like, I'm going to put a light jacket on if I'm walking. That's where
Yeah.
10 is for me. That's a me personal thing. I honestly don't start getting cold till it gets closer to 0. Which I think is 32. And only because I just saw that.
Yeah, 32 Fahrenheit is 0. 0 C.
I feel like it's relevant too, because I was lucky enough to spend a couple months in Italy, and I was there in the fall, and I left in December. And so it was quite warm until it hit December, and then it got down to 10. And that was where I started, like, we were cold. Up until then, we'd been wearing, like, summer gear.
There's a shipwreck
so it
island.
felt a lot colder there than, like, Canada equivalent, where it's a lot often below that. So
Yeah.
10 is like, it might be spring one day. I feel like Fahrenheit's difficult for me just because it doesn't get used. So I don't have that frame of reference.
As a technician who has had to operate in both, I don't actually, I have a relatively easy time flipping between the two. I can't necessarily directly translate across, but like, I know.
I mean, equivalents, or at least something.
Well, more so like, if you tell me your engine is running 200 degrees, like basically your coolant is 200 degrees Fahrenheit, I know what that means. So there's like little areas where I know I know how basically around 200 Fahrenheit. I know exactly how hot that is in reference to things that matter.
See, my
But
reference is that oven is not warm enough to cook anything.
yeah,
That's like when you want to warm something. I feel like for an engine, that's very different. I do appreciate how legit ships are wrecked, which, I mean, makes sense. But we have our beautifully cobbled together raft, and it's just like floating along.
yeah. I think it might be worth you know, fixing up an actual boat.
Right?
Or realistically, that boat should probably have an engine on it. You think that, if nothing else, would be worth stealing? So basically the part where I think I find Celsius easier is the fact that with Celsius it is simply a fact like the basically it's just based on water. 100 degrees, water boils. 0 degrees, water freezes.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, more the water freezes. I'm like, yeah, I know, like what freezing is because
Yeah,
0. But again, I don't have that frame of reference. I haven't really had to use Fahrenheit besides for baking,
yeah,
and
and
even
that's
then, that's more of a this is the temperature you cook muffins at.
yeah, but yeah, that is Fahrenheit's
Yeah, I think Juan has summed that up well. The fact
Fahrenheit's
that we
100
actually hit.
makes sense to me. Fahrenheit's 0 just seems silly to me.
I just realized both yourself and Juan have lived in places that both get to -40, and then other places that get to +40.
I mean, Canada gets plus 40. We just get really, really angry when it does.
But that's the thing, like Penticton has hit 40.
Yeah.
And Manitoba -40 is not unusual.
Yeah, not really. We've definitely hit negative 40, which
Like,
negative
I don't think
40,
it's super common, but it's not
no, not,
weird.
it's not like it's continuous, but
Although I've been assured it's the wind chill that's the problem, less than the temperature.
the wind chill is definitely a big, it can make the temperature very different based off wind chill.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So fish found me.
Sorry, what found you?
A puffer fish. I was
Oh,
sorry, I was swimming away from a Bruce at the same time.
oh, that's not what I meant to do.
Which is just rude. Like, geez, puffer fish. Give me a warning. Yeah, the 40 I hate.
I'm very
Along with
amused I
the
just said to him
pointing,
find it.
you're
Yeah.
like 3 seconds away from a Journey song. Just telling you. Just a small town girl.
Okay.
Michael's wondering why 0 Fahrenheit's silly.
Because it's based off of basically being able to replicate a the temperature for calibration, which makes sense, but it doesn't line up to anything that like matters. So it's hard to think of where you expect 0 to be. With Celsius, 0 is at freezing, 100 is at boiling. So that just works. You don't need to know any other information. You can go, yeah, okay, so this is cold, this is hot, whatever. With Fahrenheit, it's simply basically a specific mixture of basically like seawater, and it will basically come out to 0. Basically salt, basically make like a brine mixture. Wait, we're leaving this island, and I didn't actually check it for treasure. Come back onto it. Yeah, so just this is the but from a trying to replicate it for like calibrating things, 0 makes perfect sense. But it's also just such a arbitrary measurement in like what you think of for temperatures that it doesn't make a ton of sense in that way. But I mean, the Kelvin scale where 0 is absolute, like you cannot have negative numbers in the Kelvin scale. Until, one day suddenly we find some way to go beyond it, and then it'll be like completely out of whack, I'm sure. There'll be like some exception that allows you to go below absolute 0. That's always what happens. You get this is the absolute 0. You cannot go below this, and then someone finds a way to go below it. Kind of like the way we sometimes go with human decency.
So just because Juan has brought up calibration, one of
Yeah.
our silly morning tasks is we have thermometers that we have to calibrate. Want to guess how many times I've used that thermometer in my approximate year of working where I do?
No clue.
Literally never.
Okay.
Because there are thermometers in the Steam ones. I have literally never used that thermometer. It hangs on the side of the bar all day, and yet every morning I have to calibrate it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. Someone thought it was important, so now you have to do it.
Yeah, I want to say it's maybe a food safe thing.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not a, yes, we made that 190 degrees because you're a monster thing.
Yeah, I think on the Fahrenheit Celsius scale, the fact that 40 lines up is definitely something I actually use in my job. Realistically, the ideal the temperature that you want coolant to actually be good for in Canada here, like in the Okanagan Valley, is about 35. That's realistically the measurement you should be aiming for. But I'm lazy. And I just like aiming for 40, because then it doesn't matter what scale you're on, you're aiming for 40. Now when someone's like, hey, what is my coolant good for until? And you just say 40, and they're like, 40 what? And you're like,
it doesn't matter.
If you are measuring it in something where it's not 40, I have very big concerns about how you're measuring your coolant. Because if you're measuring your coolant in like Kelvin or something, I now have questions. Yeah, 0 degrees Fahrenheit is significantly cooler than, wait, yes, because 32 degrees Fahrenheit is 0 Celsius. 0 Fahrenheit is, I think, so 0 Fahrenheit is the coldest that you can make salt water, I want to say, or something like that. I think it is supposedly impossible to make salt water colder than that. Because if you make salt water colder than that, because salt water will not freeze below 0, the salt keeps it from freezing. So the salt, basically the chemical reaction that does that, will actually hold 0 degrees Fahrenheit. There's probably I'm probably missing something, but it's been a long time since I have needed to know the history of measurements, or of temperature measurements. Like that is definitely, I find sometimes people basically think that like trade school is for dumb kids, and it's like there's a lot of science and history they expect you to learn in trade school, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, I do kind of hate the stereotype. Because, like, frankly, yes, there are some people that are like,
Yeah.
But, like, the fact is, a lot of people in trades know how to do things that I have no clue how they work, and I'm just grateful someone else does.
But like that's where the fact that like most people don't understand that magnetism and electricity is not separate things. Mechanics know that. Mechanics, at the very least, have been taught that in school. Like we don't need to understand it to the point where basically someone who's working on basically that sort of thing on a actual like for scientific endeavors, somebody who's doing like research or studies or anything. But we do have to at least understand the basic concept of when you make magnetism, you make electricity. When you make electricity, you make magnetism. They are not separate things. You cannot you can't do them separately. You might be looking for one or the other, but you're always making both. So that means sometimes you can have a problem that is a magnetic problem, and yeah, so 100 degrees Fahrenheit makes complete sense to me because that is human body temperature. Technically it's 98 degrees, 98.2 or something like that. But that is basically the average human body temperature. So
Oh, that explains, like, when somebody has a fever, it's at 104, which always sounded, like, really high.
yeah.
But, like, yes, equivalently 5 degrees is a difference. Also, hi, noob.
How's it going, noob? Hi, mini mac and cheese. I both understand and don't understand, but
I don't know why, but every time I think of macaroni, it is not the meme song that Milo sent, but it's the, like, chicken wing, chicken wing. And then now it's just pepperoni forever.
Chaperone. Or
Pepperoni.
chaperone? Is it chaperone or chaperone?
Chaperone.
I think it's chaperone. Okay, we are stopped
I'm a
this
terrible
island.
chaperone.
Can confirm, terrible chaperone.
Never make sure there's enough room for the Holy Spirit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm done on this island. This island is not worth it. Um, yeah, so do you know anything of like the history of ice boxes? Like, do you actually know how ice boxes worked and were used in the world pre-refrigeration?
I mean, I know that, like, you used to get your ice and put them in the ice box.
Well,
And that
like,
was how you, like, did a thing.
so there's still actually some places where like you can find ice boxes that have external access. So you would actually just literally someone would come by and put a new block of ice into your ice box from the outside. So they wouldn't even have to like just it's like the milkman, but they don't even have to interact with you. They have a door on the outside of your house that they go up to. They open it up. They toss a new ice box in or a new ice block in, and your ability to keep your meat cooled is continues on.
I'll be honest, I totally wrote that situation and thought I was winging it, and I am glad that somehow I accidentally got it right.
Yep, that is exactly how that worked. Now, where did that ice come from? Because
I
obviously,
want to say morgues, and that's probably wrong.
well, so the ice came from the Great Lakes for most of America.
Oh, yeah, nope, that would track.
So a lot of the so actually even and so the ice that didn't like for the like for England, that ice came in via ship. So they would actually literally sail to the north, get ice, and sail back down with ice. You'd be shipping so much ice that on like a month-long voyage, the ice is still like you have most of the ice still because that's how much ice you're shipping.
I want to make so many jokes about this is how the Expanse started, and we all know how that ended.
Yep. Ice hauling starts all of the world's greatest problems. I'm actually re-listening to The Expanse. Yeah, you use straw to basically keep the ice insulated from the sun. However, so when refrigeration was first invented, refrigeration was not something you could do on a small scale. Refrigeration was basically took off as a way for large companies that were basically making ice for people in order to be able to, rather than having to ship it in, they would actually have these giant ice plants that would make ice, and then they would be cut apart, broken up, and sent out throughout the city so people could have their ice. And so those were giant heat exchangers that would basically they operated on like the most core principles of pressurize a liquid and it heats up. Depressurize it and it cools down, and you just basically do that very simple cycle. But it wasn't until Freon that you could basically do it on a small scale. The downside, of course, being that Freon is,
Mildly poisonous?
not good for the environment.
And that brings us to raft, where we have no ice caps.
Yep.
And a fridge that I don't actually know how it functions.
I mean,
Is it on a battery?
it doesn't function in any specific way. I have not seen any ice in this world yet, actually. So I don't know how we're keeping.
I don't think we will.
I don't know how we're keeping our shark steaks fresh.
I mean, if we want to get very, like... They probably, hypothetically, if you're thinking about it, would dry it, maybe? Is where I would lean.
Yeah, that would probably be the smartest way to do that, that's for sure.
Speaking of, if Crafting Spirit wants any fish, because I have just recalled that you do not like it.
I am not a fan of fish.
I have some salmon. From my...
Crafting Spirit may be interested in some salmon.
Nice. I have some from my brother's father-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. He's always getting good
Yeah,
meat, good eats.
good eats. I'm looking forward to. I can bring some up on Sundays. Yeah, that's my thought. Is probably salt it and dried.
Cause yeah, we're just like
And it's
cooking
not like
it, and I'm
salt
like,
would be
this.
hard to get because like
Nope.
we're literally doing the water thing anyway.
Yeah,
So
we're
salt's abundant.
salt is not a problem. And also, if salt was something we couldn't get out of the water easily, enough of Bruce attacks has got me salty enough that I think I can provide the ship's salt needs. All right, drop an anchor again. Ah, yeah. Once again, timed it out perfect that I'm standing on top of the treasure.
Nice. Trying to be careful how far around this island I go.
All right, not much else on this island. I can't quite make it back up to my gangplank. Yes, I got back up. Now time to
Nice.
fold it up and abandon ship.
Right. The salty chef. We'll provide all the salt chef needs.
What even is? I got a painting that is called What Even Is.
I love it.
All right.
Oh, I'm a good
Accurately
chef.
accurately named painting. What even is? All right, where did you die?
Just off the side of the raft.
All right, I see you. I see the
Found a
shepherd
bruise.
run.
Did find some clay though, so it was worth it. Oh man, I get brought back to beautiful piano music.
Wait, that was wrong. I do enjoy the piano.
I appreciate that it's playable to the right extent.
Yeah, like it's the same way in A Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I always really appreciated the fact that you could actually play music on it, even if it wasn't like great. Like it was not as detailed as an actual instrument would be, but it was still enough that you could do some cool stuff with it. Which is why the fact that my niece's music teacher was at the convention and had an ocarina to play music was glorious, and the fact that we already knew her teacher,
I really appreciate that.
it was funny.
I mean, I honestly really enjoyed the game of Guess What I'm Playing that your niece performed for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no musical talent, so I I am terrible at guessing music and any attempt of performing music.
I'm honestly waiting for Crafting Spirit to throw me in front of a bardic pit. but that will involve at least some level of alcohol because performing in front of people is terrifying.
Yep.
There was a little bit I used to do when I was taking orders. Did not do it very often, but I would kind of sing a little bit of it. And I quickly was like, oh, I can only do this like once or twice. This is so much anxiety leading up to this. That one doesn't get pulled out very often. Just like the McDonald's one doesn't get pulled out anymore because I mutilated it with the Burger King one. And created some kind of monstrosity and had to go hide in a corner for 20 minutes. I feel like Mini Shep deals with the problem of anybody who does any kind of art or speaks a second language, where you mention it and somebody's like, oh, like, say something for me or sing something for me, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh god, you put me on the spot and now I don't remember how to do the thing.
That is why whenever someone's like basically, that's where it's best to never ever mention that you do a thing in front of two other people. When people are like, if you basically are a artistic person with your actual job, when people ask what you do, just like find the most boring way to phrase it.
Yeah.
Or just, lie and make it something they're going to find uncomfortable and therefore not ask you more about. People are like, oh, what do you do for a living? Be like, oh, I'm a drug dealer. And they're like, oh, never mind.
So what happens is people phone me and we have a conversation and they pay me for that. Read what you will.
Yeah. People are like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I have an OnlyFans. Oh. Yeah, I do. I did woodworking on OnlyFans. What? There's a dude. I'm pretty sure there's actually a dude who has an Only.
I would.
Oh god, yes. That is amazing.
Have to.
I want to say I need to look this up at some point. I don't actually want to look up anything on OnlyFans, but I do need to look this up at some point. But I think there's a guy on OnlyFans who actually legit, it's just him doing woodworking. Like there are some people who actually use OnlyFans for actual artistic endeavors, and I am happy that is the thing.
I think we were joking about that at my workplace. I think someone was like, I was like, no, just start up an OnlyFans and, do like the crafted drinks and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, because I forget who it was. The reason I found out about this was there was a news story where it's like so and so has an OnlyFans, and I'm like, what? That just makes no sense. And then I'm like, all right, fine, I will bite. Why? Like, what is this about? And it was like, oh, famous person has an OnlyFans, but it is not at all anything like adult or not safe for work. It is just literally them posting their stuff. And I'm like, what? This is a thing? And then it's like, oh yeah, it turns out this is not actually like, it's not common, but it's not that uncommon.
Yeah, if you don't know what OnlyFans is, don't Google it.
Yep. Do not recommend Googling OnlyFans.
I'll be honest, there was a lot of things my ex said that I just knew it was better not to Google.
But yeah, for the most part, OnlyFans is simply a place people can post things. It's just there's no restriction as to what people can post.
I was about to say, I want to see
So
if like a video version of Patreon, if Patreon dealt more with adult features.
yeah, which I think is I think anything like adult like R-rated. I guess not R-rated would be fine, but I think past that is I think that's like very much dedicated adult only is against Patreon's terms and services,
I mean,
which is
that would make
why
sense.
OnlyFans is like that's why everyone's like, oh, OnlyFans is only that, and it's like no, technically it is whatever people want to put on it, but
I can't tell if Jeff said it's like Patreon at the same time I did, or if that is Jeff literally mocking my comparison. I
I'm
accept both.
I'm gonna say it's probably just
Just an
timing.
echo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my guess anyway. Because it is certainly an accurate statement. So randomly, the
I appreciate that. Apparently we are sharing the brain cell today. I'm okay with this.
yeah, sharing is caring. But yeah, now I want to actually say the guy who does the OnlyFans as a like for woodworking, he's apparently like a super chill dude. And it's very much like it's like I think pretty much everything he puts out is it's very much like oh, if you want to watch this, there's a lot of different places you can watch this. It just also happens to be on OnlyFans, but it's basically a case of if you want to support him, cool, you totally can. But he is not one of the people who expects people to support his work. That's I feel like in you can find people doing basically sort of like trades with videos of themselves online, and they often have that vibe where like you get like some Twitch streamers who get really entitled and get like bitter about people watching them without paying or whatever, and then you get like the trades where they're like, I'm just happy someone cares enough to watch.
There was definitely, I used a YouTube video, like a DIY to fix my leaking tap.
Yeah.
And first of all, like, that man explained everything to a T with the right amount of assumption of you don't know what you're doing, but I'm not judging you for it. Very Bob Ross.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to put that. But also with enough attention to detail and explanation that you're like, I can do this thing. And it did successfully work for like a month, and then my brother has refixed it since. I don't know what went wrong. But the fact is, I stopped that tap from leaking, and I was very proud of myself.
Yeah. And that's always cool to see.
There was definitely some doomsayers at work that they were like, oh, it always looks easy online. And I'm like, well, I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, that's when I call a plumber in.
Yep.
And then they cuss me out for wrecking things. Not true. All my plumbers have been very nice.
That is, I've never been mad at someone for trying to fix it themselves. I get mad at the people who have tried to fix it themselves and then are going to either lie to me or get mad at me because what they tried didn't work.
Oh yeah, I'm usually pretty honest about like, I did this thing, it didn't seem to work.
So I definitely had one guy who had tried to fix his own forklift, but when I came there, he didn't actually want me to look at the problem and solve it. He just wanted me to tell him, like just without, like I had basically having like visually seen the forklift and that's it. Tell him why his repair didn't work. And I'm like,
oh no.
what makes you so sure that you're assumed like what you've assumed is wrong with the forklift is what's actually wrong with the forklift? Can I actually like diagnose the forklift to tell what's wrong? And he just like didn't want to give me the time to diagnose it. He's just like, but why? Like, why is it doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I don't look at a forklift and know what's wrong with it. It might be essential craftsman. That sounds familiar. And then I had another guy who absolutely just a very wonderful human being who he had a forklift with a leaking radiator. And he's very much what does it hurt? Give it a try sort of guy. Well, he heard a life hack of, oh, radiator leak? You can fix it. You can basically make a stop leak using boiled egg. Or not boiled
Oh
egg.
no.
The egg boils
That
itself.
doesn't sound good.
To put it this way, we never fixed that forklift.
Oh no.
We sold him a new one eventually because it was just always problematic. There was just no way to actually get it reliable. And he shared a story with me not that long ago because we bought it off of him, or basically he traded it in for a different forklift. That has actually done really well for him since. But after how much like, because it was back and forth at his place a bunch of times after that, where I was like, okay, we think we fixed it, and then it would basically go back to acting up. And so by the time that was finally done, when I came to pick it up and give him his new forklift, he said, I never want to see this forklift again. Like, leave the chains off and let it roll in the lake when you drive down the hill. And I assured him that I didn't want to see the forklift any much more than he did. But as the way of business is, somebody came along and asked my boss. They needed a forklift that just runs. They like needed very little. They don't need it for a lot. And Wally basically showed him that forklift and said, this is what the problems are. You want it? And they were like, yes. So they bought it. And as it turns out, they live very close by to where the guy who originally
Oh no.
had it. And the one day he was helping a neighbor, and he walks into like the shop and he's like, oh, I did not want to ever see that again. So it was his forklift.
Eggy mistake for the rest of his life.
Yep. So.
Oh, that's hilarious. That poor man.
Yep. But either way, that's one of those people. Like he just right from the get-go, 100% admitted what he'd done. We did our best to fix it. It just like everything we did was just like no, it just didn't matter. We could never get it going the way it needed to. But yeah, it's like one of those people where I'm like, I was definitely never mad at him. I was frustrated that we couldn't fix the forklift. And even with all that, he never got mad at us for the fact that we couldn't really fix his forklift. It was just like, he wanted it to work, and that was not feasible. So, new forklift for him. And the big thing is like he needed it to be because this guy basically I don't know how much orchard he deals with, but basically he owns orchard, he owns like that sort of businesses, the related stuff. So when a truck comes by to pick up apples or whatever, he needs the forklift to work. Like he doesn't have time to sit there and be like, oh well, the forklift's not really working right now. We'll get back to this when the forklift works. Whereas the customer that eventually bought that forklift can handle that level of, oh well, the forklift's not working right now. We'll basically let it sit for 15 minutes and come back. But yeah, I have very different reactions to people who have tried their own fix And it's basically, if you've tried your own fix and they're like, hey, I did this, it made it worse, or basically didn't solve the problem, please fix. That's fine. But if you try to now make it a me problem, I'm not excited for that. That is not something I am interested in.
I feel like I had the opposite problem where when my grandfather was still here, he'd call up and he'd be like, "There's something wrong with my computer," and as in the way I feel like people who weren't raised with computers, and I'm on the edge of that, to be fair.
Yep.
It's very much there's something wrong with my computer, and you're like, "What's wrong with your computer?" And they're like, "It's not doing the thing," quote unquote. And you're like, "Oh gosh." And I've always just found like go in, play around, and you'll find out.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so I would go in and I would just try random things and something would work. And 9 times out of 10, I cannot tell you what I have done to make the thing work. More so now.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh, I tried this, something worked. But because my grandfather was an engineer, he always wanted to know what I did.
Yeah.
And saying I messed around until something worked out is not an acceptable answer. It was the one he had to settle for because I had no answer for him.
I would say, but there are times, even as a mechanic, where that is the realistic answer. What did I do? Something. How did I fix it? I don't know.
A little bit of magic, I sacrificed something.
Why are we... I got another what it even is.
You're all just what it even is.
Like, I'd rather have more after the rains than, rather than more what even is.
I like after the rain.
After the rain's quite beautiful. That's what even is what even is. The pot is pretty nice. But after the rain, it's nice. What's that? So you do or don't enjoy the pot?
No, I like that one.
Okay.
I can appreciate what even is because it looks like somebody's throwing something at a computer screen.
Wait, did I not? Where did I put the thing? Okay.
I kind of miss a lot of the cat-centric ones from Tangia or whatever it's called that were there pre-game, if I remember correctly.
Tangia?
The Globe City. And I feel like there was a lot of cat-centric art.
Actually, I think there were still paintings. We just didn't buy any. We got a piano and that was it. That now I have a question and I'm gonna go answer it. Tangaroa 24385.
That is definitely the first step on any troubleshooting for me, Jeff. Does it work if I smack it? Nope. Okay, moving on. Yep, no longer my problem.
All right. Adventure awaits.
I also used to scare my my coworkers at my last job because like the printer would jam and there was one like metal plate that a piece of paper would get stuck under just like a shred, and then the whole printer would jam. There was a screw that you could remove, take that plate out, and just take the piece of paper, put it back. So I used to do that, and I know it freaked my coworkers out because they're like, "But what about the warranty?" And I'm like, "Well, if you shut up and don't say anything,
Yeah.
it's not a problem." I just thought it was dumb to phone a technician in to literally do that.
Yep. I agree with that sentiment.
And my thing was, okay, I'll take this out, and if that doesn't solve the problem, then obviously submit a ticket and someone who knows what they're doing.
Yep.
But if I can see the little piece of paper and I can't grab it, it's not going to hurt for me to remove this screw as long as I don't lose it.
That is definitely always one of the keys. Don't lose the thing.
Hey, dolphins, would you like to come back and do your job?
Yes, there is a Bruce problem that you would really, it would be really appreciated if you solved. That's what dolphins are supposed to do. I'm assuming the what is life even without a Reese cup is completely hypothetical because that doesn't sound like life at all.
What would I bribe you with every week?
I mean, you could
That
go
would be
the crafting spirit route and buy me multiple bags of Skittles, but
That is true.
I mean, there's only so many Skittles I can eat.
Lies.
I mean, there's only so many Skittles I can eat before my mouth turns into like destroyed architecture.
That is true. I could go and see if I could purchase a bucket of honey mustard from Denny's.
It is probably a good thing that you can't just like buy Denny's honey mustard in a
In a barrel.
like in like a ketchup container or something. I won't ever have to find out what it feels like having to be able to basically needing to use a mobility assist scooter at age 35. So I certainly wouldn't have made it as far as I've made it without running into health issues if I could just like consume copious amounts of that honey mustard sauce.
Wood shepherds are also very good for getting rid of bodies.
How much wood would a wood chepper chep if a wood chepper could chep wood?
Wood chep as much as a wood chep if wood chep could chep wood.
So, where are you at, Jeff? Juan's in Oregon. This channel will just slowly turn into the Where Are the Truckers Now channel.
So, Jeff, if you haven't heard of the podcast Dungeons and Daddies, which is a D&D podcast and not a BDSM podcast, as they make a point of telling you, I feel like you'd appreciate dad level jokes.
Yeah. So just to
Also,
be clear,
please leave, sir. You're not allowed to be in your truck.
yeah. Just to be clear, you're not actually plugging them, right? Even though you're constantly plugging them.
Absolutely not. I'm not getting paid for this.
I'm very amused where you're like,
However, if they
everyone
ever
must hear about them.
100%. They really should. Everyone must hear about them. They are highly entertaining. Very adult. If you do not
I definitely
approve
feel like
adults.
they are Jeff's level.
Yes. I feel like 100%. I believe Jeff would enjoy greatly.
Okay, Creston and Cranbrook's not a bad place. You're not too far away.
What mini lesson did you learn, Milo? Was it like licorice gum? See, I have mixed feels because I actually do like black licorice. I blame that on my father.
I 100% do not.
Which is fair. Again, I blame it on my father because my father ate it, so like it's like nostalgia. However, I don't know if I'd want it as gum. I don't know if I'd want that consistent. I like the initial sharp and then for it to go away.
No, I would 100% not be on board. But like that's not surprising. I don't like.
Yeah, I will say they have just moved into, I think, campaign 2, Jeff. But like the episodes are like an hour, so obviously you can power through fairly quickly. The first episode felt very long to me, but they were also kind of establishing things and getting started, but from right off the bat, greatly enjoyed.
Definitely. So at some point here, we are not going to have to go to the bottom floor anymore, and it's going to force myself to go down just to check up on the battery. Because otherwise, that'll get. Otherwise, that battery will just go dead, and we'll be like, "Why does nothing have water? Why are the animals dying?"
So I'll be honest, Jeff, I was very confused by the 16 episodes. Because campaign 1 has, just skimming now, I think it's 58. I lied, there's more than that. 68. There's 68 episodes in campaign 1, but again, they're like 1 hour-ish, so that's like 68 hours, so that's like, what, a week and a bit for you?
Yeah, I feel like 200 kilometers in a day is, like, for me, that is a lot of driving in a day. Like, 200 kilometers in a day is pretty much like peak what I would do in a work day. I also need to fix something at the other end of that usually.
I feel like I 100% expect random black gum to be Asian in some way.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious what it tastes like now. Because I have tried octopus water and there were mixed reviews.
Yeah, that was a funny deal.
I also don't know if they've changed the point where I'm at, because I think I'm on episode 6. They were uploading every 2 weeks, so they may have moved to every week. But if they're still on a 2-week, like, you have more than enough time to catch up and not really miss things.
All right, we're coming up on Tangaroa, and I will get the answer to my question.
Oh, about the cat pictures?
No.
Okay.
Are the exits still down?
Oh.
Or have they reset that we've gone away from it? Basically, does this a brand new Tangaroa, or is it the Tangaroa that we left?
It It is very pretty.
Yep, the exits are down.
Nice.
So we can just stop by and go for a jaunt. So I think
lied to.
the longest distance I think I have driven for a day of work was about 230 kilometers. And that was, I was going to Vernon to install a seatbelt. It was literally undo 2 bolts, install a new seatbelt, tighten up the bolts, and bye. A 1,000 kilometers isn't hard to do in a day. It is very hard to do in a day and be expected to repair things at the other end.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, generally, whenever I am going quite some distance, I am going quite some distance through Kelowna, and that's, no one should have to do that. Because Kelowna always
Dishonor on
slows that
you.
down a ton.
Dishonor on your cow.
How's Bruce doing?
He's a little hungry. A little chompy. That's okay, I've got robot butlers that could also find some entertainment, I'm sure.
Now, the downside being, since this is not a new island, the tokens, we probably can't find new tokens.
I mean, oh yeah, I guess you don't get the tokens from the robot.
No, you get the cards, not tokens. I didn't realize I didn't actually pack anything to fight robots here. Got a machete, but that's not really what I would want for fighting a butler. I hear you planned more,
Oh yeah, but I'm really bad at it, so...
I feel like we need to ask Watson. Yes, yeah, so it has the abstract paintings. Now, how many Tangaroa tokens?
No.
We have 13 Tangaroa tokens left. I don't think the plants are worth it because I think we can make those.
So
Yes,
the mini bowls of candy
take only
definitely
one.
made me think of meeples, and I'm like, oh yeah, I still need to go down there. Oops. Probably a thing I should do tomorrow. Also, I'm dead.
Okay.
I can always wait to unstick, but I'm afraid where that will take me.
I mean, that is fair. I don't know where you were when you died. I assume you're on the asphalt, at least?
Yeah, I skewed off slightly to the right, and there was the Seaside Barber.
Yep.
And I'm kind of down that road a little. I believe I was being chased by a butler. I shot it, and it got upset.
Ah, there's a chaperone. There. There is the cat mauling someone's face painting or something. I don't know.
It's just giving love. I love those paintings. They're so silly. Oh no, poor Jeff. I would love to see us skip the dishes. Just delivering in the middle of nowhere. All they deliver him is Reese's cup.
So like skip the dishes, deliver nothing but Reese's, and deliver it to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there being like, what? What is going on? Is this a joke? This is probably a joke.
I will ask closer to Sunday again. But if I were to grab bubble tea for crafting spirit, would you also like bubble tea?
I
can't remember your
am
stance on that.
fine with that. I
Yeah.
like bubble tea is fine, but I am certainly not at all excited for bubble tea, so it's whatever. Okay, I am going to turn the engine back on and we will leave Tangaroa. But now we know. Tangaroa does not reset when we're gone, which is both good and bad.
So if I were to tell you there was a bubble tea called Reese's Break,
Interesting.
and I were to get
I
one
don't,
that was blended, would you
I
like
don't,
to try some?
like, I like mangoes. Mango sushi was not,
Oh,
no.
so this is my thing. I do like mango sushi. However, like I like the Sushi Heaven version, where they have like the mango 7 roll. That one's divine. I enjoy.
Yeah,
But yeah, Ishin's is okay, is how I'm gonna put it.
this was
It's
definitely
kind
a
of
case
like,
of like, this was just, here's sushi in a roll, or here is mango in a sushi roll, and I'm like, nope, nope, not. This isn't terrible, but I am also not excited about this. Oh. My mouse was not on the right window. I did not catch that fish.
Aki was also asking if things will be normal next week, and I said at this point, as far as we know, yes.
Should be. I
'Cause
don't
I was
think.
like, I don't fully know what we're doing, but
Yeah, next week should just be business as usual.
yeah, I think that they only asked just because of
Yeah.
I mentioned maybe camping, but even then they
Yeah.
should be back Sunday. So
Well, and that's, yeah. I don't. They're the first. Let's see. What is the earliest thing that might mess with that?
I mean, like earliest event or
Yes.
possibly home gang?
Home gang, September 16th to 18th. Yeah, so there'd be a good chance that we do not have game that weekend.
Yeah, I was kind of assuming, like, I'm not sure if we're driving back and forth because, like, I don't
Yeah,
know if Armstrong's drivable. Like,
it
it is, but it
is.
isn't.
I mean, it is like a 2 hour drive, but I also don't want to stay in Armstrong.
Night one. I mean, part of me was wondering if we should just see if we could, like, bunk out at Murdoch's house.
Yeah, Murdoch would probably be down.
Because 7 cats. This is
That
already a great day for me.
Yep, that is the correct number of cats. Some of which even want your love and attention,
I
but
mean,
not
that's
all
more
of
than
them.
my cats give me. Bear has been unusually affectionate this weekend because he can't do anything else.
Yeah.
And even then, he only tolerated me doing the hold you like a baby for about 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. I think I am probably going to call the stream relatively soon here because the stream has been going for about 3 hours. Or
That is
more so,
fair.
it's been going for 2 hours and 55 minutes and 23 seconds. So I think 3 hours is a good length of time for a stream.
3 hours is pretty solid.
Still definitely been looking for what game I want to stream next, but I don't know how much we have left on Raft before I need to have another game up to play.
Fair.
The stream isn't going to get killed. It's just going to be put to rest. It'll be back.
We're just taking it out to a farm. It'll be fine.
We're letting it rest. It'll be back on Saturday, probably.
I can't see why not unless things happen.
I mean, yeah. Mostly that.
I would joke that you could totally stream Goose Goose Duck, but I know the people we play with, and no, you can't.
I mean, if we were going to stream Goose Goose Duck, I feel like I would want to stream that with like 50% stranger mix at least.
That would be kind of fun. Especially now that they've put in things to
Proximity.
kind of help that.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, because I think that was the thing with Among Us was 100%. Sometimes you found really good groups. And then sometimes you're like, I regret even signing in today.
Yeah. It was definitely a mix all over the place. But yeah, no. I do find it funny that Among Us was good, but like Goose Goose Duck was like, so we just ripped it off and just it's better now, and it was like that's
Yeah, it's kind
this
of amazing.
shouldn't be the way that works, but congratulations, that's exactly how that worked.
Well, I think part of it, and again, it might just be team size. They definitely get their updates faster.
Yeah,
And it's really hard to say who at this point is ripping off who. But like the fact that they've got the variety of roles that you can play just pure classic, that you can kind of up and down. Like you don't need, I think what's the limit? 16 people.
yeah,
Like you don't need 16 people to have a good room. Whereas like Among Us, you had to have at least 6. I think
yeah,
5 was the minimum, and even then it was kind of like, this is
yeah.
silly. Maybe it was 4 was the minimum. Either way.
The
So,
minimum you
yeah.
actually needed to like play was 4, but what you needed to actually have a good game was 6. So yeah, that was a thing. That was a problem.
I also feel like just because we played Among Us, like Goose Goose has that level of absurdity that you don't get that adrenaline dump that you used to get, like I used to get when I was imposter.
Well, that's
And I was
Among
just like, oh
Us
gosh.
was like usually just a bit too serious.
Yeah. I actually think that was where, when Doom had the group, I enjoyed playing with them because it was a different experience.
Yeah.
But sometimes it was almost too much because they had very loud, very competitive, very serious people.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed just from like, I'm already getting this adrenaline dump, and now
Yeah.
like, people seem to know what I'm doing. Whereas Goose Goose, I think, we're a bit more ridiculous. But also, like, there is more of that, and we follow the flowchart, which we really shouldn't.
No, we follow the flowchart. It's important. It's there for a reason.
I know that Devin's flowchart merely says Shep. It's really great when I'm a dodo.
So I think Shep has already seen how the mini sea shark steak size, because Shep, basically when I look from outside, that is what Shep normally sees. But that is also the weirdest way to hold steak.
Kinda. That's a
Just-
choice. It looks like you're gonna boomerang that.
Yeah, 100%.
I always follow the Reese's Cup chart. It's the only reason Shep still exists.
Yes, follow the Reese's cup chart. But I do think so. Home gang is the 16th, and then ANS is the 23rd, and then freeze off is the 30th. So it's like 3 weeks in a row.
Yep.
Oh goodness, and then Golden Swan is week after. So it's basically just 4 events back to back.
Yep, and then I think we get a week off, and then Pentacon and possibly CamCon.
Yeah.
Just exhaust you.
I
mean, at least ANS is only 1 day.
really kind of makes me not want to do freeze off.
That's fair.
Just to put a break somewhere there.
Yeah.
So apparently I am going to be judging the rapier demonstration for ANS.
Oh, neat. Like, people make rapiers for ANS, or?
No, not as in like making, but like a demonstration of period rapier science.
Oh, okay. I saw the call for volunteers. I may aid. I don't really know what they do, but I can tally scores.
I did not volunteer or anything. I was directly asked, so.
I love it. You were voluntold.
I mean, it wasn't voluntold. I was just, hey, would you be interested in doing this thing? And I'm like, sure. If I have been directly approached for it, I will take this.
I think that's my hesitation. I am more than happy to volunteer. But I know what happens when you volunteer.
Yep. Okay. Well, I think mostly the progress of today was filling that fridge, and boy did we fill that fridge. There is so much cooked fish in that fridge. So, it's been a good productive day.
For another day.
So, when we play on Saturday and go to Varuna Point, we should be in good shape there.
Night,
But
Jeff.
I think this is where I'm going to call the stream. So, wait, why do you put the mini fish in that box thing? You mean the fridge here? Oh, no, you're talking about why do the mini fish go in this box? Well, I need raw food, either raw meat or raw vegetables, to make biofuel. Biofuel is what runs the engines and runs the battery charger and all that stuff.
All their batteries are basically vegetable oil.
So this tank right here is basically you put honey and raw food in here. It puts out fuel. The fuel goes in here. I have like a chest here with 40 fuel, and that is what keeps our raft powered.
That reminds me, there are 2 cans of biofuel over by the garden because I didn't know where else to throw it.
There's
In
a
one of the
chest.
chests there.
There's a chest here by the like right here behind the tank.
Okay,
That is nothing but biofuel.
perfect. I will go retrieve those.
Uh,
I would like
I've
how
just
I was
grabbed it.
in the mini garden and I
Yeah,
was like, no, there's grass on that side.
yeah, I've grabbed them. They are now in the right place.
It's a good thing Shep's pretty, that's all I can say.
Oh, there's a big island next to us. This seems like a good point to call it a day.
Yeah.
And we can decide whether we want to explore an island at the start of next game. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you all for keeping me company, and we will talk to you later. Have a good night, or if it is not a night where you are, have a good morning or good afternoon.